You can hear the dogs outside. So, throughout my life, I've made a few questionable decisions, and some of them are bookish decisions. So, I decided to honor those mistakes in a video. And here today, we're gonna do that. So, I'm gonna talk a little bit about some books that I shouldn't have read, but I did because I crumble under pressure. The first book I want to talk about is A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I know that book is kind of controversial, but I shouldn't have read that book because I knew from the beginning, I don't have brushes, by the way. I knew I wasn't going to like it, and I knew it that right from the beginning because I've already seen a cat's video about it, and it was the first video where I saw, and I just was like, oh, what is she talking about? She seems really passionate about it. And he was like, oh, this book just sounds like crap, and I don't want to read it. But then, because I crumble under pressure, one of my friends that was also my crush at the moment told me, hey, look, I found this book and it seems really fun and I want you to read it. And me, as someone who has zero respect for my own decisions, I said, of course I'm going to read it. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I've also seen that book before. It sounds so interesting. Why don't we read it together? And she was like, oh my god, yes, finally someone I can read this book with him. And I was like, yay, let's have fun. So I did it. I read the book and I hated it. It wasn't good. And I knew from the beginning that it wasn't going to be good. But I still did it because she was my crush and I wanted to have something to talk about with her that was a common interest, because that's what you do to get someone to like you. You pretend that you like the same things, and then you just hope that you end up liking the same things. This looks like a bruise. Okay. It was a waste of my time, and I give it 1 star, and I think my review is no or nope, I don't know. That's the first book. The second book, so I was in high school. One of my friends said, oh, I found this book that's really weird. It's really, really weird. And I said, wow, what do you mean it's weird? And she was like, look, it's about this girl that's kind of addicted to sex, and she is going on a vacation, but everything is fake. And I was like, what do you mean everything is fake? And she was like, yeah, but it was really interesting, and because it was about someone who was addicted to sex, and we were 15-year-olds with the maturity level of a golden retriever, we thought, oh my god, this is kind of a forbidden book. Wow. So, I read Insatiable by Valerie Tocasso, and it was an experience. A really, really questionable, again, experience. It is about a woman who is addicted to sex. Okay. And I didn't got really into the book because it made me really uncomfortable. The spoilers, by the way, for all the books I'm going to talk about. It made me really uncomfortable because at the beginning of the book there is this particular scene where she's talking about this guy that comes and just they fuck, um, and she just said, "Oh, I better just hide all the Coca-Cola bottles around the house because I don't want him to find them." And I was like, wow, this is not a red flag at all. So she did that, and then she explained why, and that was because that guy had like, that's not a circle, but that guy had like this fetish of just fucking her with Coca-Cola bottles, and it really threw me off. I Oh wow, I look ridiculous, perfect, and it really threw me off because why would you be with someone that has that kind of, why is she said that that made her uncomfortable, and it isn't something I read before. It was the first time I ever had like, it was the first time I read any kind of book that talked so openly about sex and about relationships, and it started with the wrong foot, my guy, and it was a complete mess. And I got it like in 30 pages maybe into the book, and then I stopped because it made me really uncomfortable. And I couldn't get to the interesting part because this girl just made terrible decisions. Okay? And the the third and last book I want to talk about is none other than the infamous bestseller with 3 motion pictures, 50 Shades of Grey. The second book, 50 Shades Darker. Because I was 15 and I felt rebellious. And I said, "What do you mean, Mom? I cannot read that book. I'm 15." And she was like, "No, you cannot read it." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." And I did it. And at the moment, I found it so daring and so interesting and so forbidden. So I liked it, kind of liked it. I don't know, it's really messed up now that I'm thinking about it. But at the moment, I liked it. But I didn't want to keep reading it because it wasn't something it actually interested me. What if I paint my eyebrows? I'm going to put lipstick on my eyebrows. So I thought it was interesting, and one of my friends also wanted to read it, and I said, "Oh, here, have my copy." And she was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." And I was like, "Oh my god, you're so pretty, can we be friends?" And she was like, "Oh my god, yes." And I was like, "Oh my god, I love you." And I was 15. And then she started reading the second book, and I was like, I'm not really into it enough to start reading the second book. So she was like, pero come on, but come on, it's really interesting and it's really fun and you're gonna love it. And I was like, ha 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 ha, okay, you're pretty, I'm gonna do it, because I was hormonal and dumb, and I'm still dumb and maybe hormonal, but we don't talk about it. So oh my god, I look ridiculous. So I read it, and I cannot even say I read it. I read like again 40 or 50 pages of it, and I just couldn't finish it. It was just like the same thing, and it was so dull and so draining. I couldn't finish it. So I told her, haha, it was so interesting, right? And she was like, yeah, oh my god, let's talk about it. And I was like, no. No. And that's how the story goes. And I hope the look really fits. I have 2 mirrors. I hope the look really fits the theme because I feel like a clown. I shouldn't have read those books. I knew I wasn't going to like them. And I did it anyway because I don't have self-respect for my own decisions. I hope you like this video. I don't know why. I hope you like the makeup look. And that's it.